So here we are, right, as a 2-6 football team, and it really feels as though the Jets have hit rock bottom. 5-game losing streak, no identity, no discipline, no standard, no culture. Everyone demoralized. There's been finger pointing. It just feels like an absolute circus, and it's just horrifying to watch. I mean, to watch a team commit the same penalties and mistakes, in self-inflicted errors week in and week out, and there just be no repercussions or no sort of accountability. You just get the sense that everyone within the organization is just demoralized, and it's all right, we'll get them next week. We'll get them next week. We'll get them. It never happens. Never happens. I thought the Jets were going to win Sunday. I truly thought that the Jets were going to beat the New England Patriots. I thought it was going to be closer than what a lot of people expected going in. But to go into Foxborough, to start slow, to have multiple delay of games, to have literally wasting all 3 timeouts in the first quarter is a flat out joke. No disrespect to New England, right? They handled business. They got the win. They dealt with adversity. We clearly did not. Again, not a shot at New England here, but they are playing one of the worst teams in football, and they look like a disorganized mess. Like, completely incompetent. Just ineptitude everywhere. Offensively, defensively, special teams. I mean, the strength of this team last year used to be like a rock-solid defense. Pass rushers coming from every which way, a nice combination of young players mixed with veterans, your corners dropping back constantly in his own coverage to really blanket the deep parts of the field, keeping everything in front, of the back end of the defense. You'd have intelligence with CJ Mosley, you'd have toughness and speed with Quincy Williams. We had just, again, pass rushers from the outside, pass rushers from the inside. And in one off season, Douglas has completely blown up the strength of this team, which was, in my opinion, the defensive line, letting all these guys walk, and then of course, in the case of JFM, trading him away and going out and getting replacements. I also assume that the Jets viewed these players as upgrades, and that clearly has not worked out. The reason why I assume that is because they overpaid for them. It's not like, Quentin Jefferson just wanted too much money and we just don't have it. No, they gave a lot of money. They invested a lot of money in other positions. We don't need to really dive into the whole Hassan Reddick situation, but the point is, you just feel like the Jets just don't have an identity. They don't know who they are. And they're currently on this 5-game losing streak, reeling, demoralized. We've seen finger pointing this season. And again, we went from a team that was playing, great defense, fundamentally sound defense, a defense that really you kind of felt like had every answer within that given system, on top of a special teams unit that was solid as well. Thomas Morstead putting teams deep. You'd have great gunner play, right? Irv Charles really developed onto the scene as a good special teamer. Greg Zuerlein, you felt like was pretty damn good last season, and everything has just gone up in flames. And what's mind-blowing is that, this is with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. This is with Devontae Adams, right? This is the roster that Joe Douglas wanted. This is the roster that he, decided to put out in the field, and we look absolutely terrible. We look horrible. So, again, it feels like rock bottom. There's nothing that the NFL is going to do. They're not going to just hand out a free win or change the schedule around. No, the Jets have got to dig themselves out of this hole. If you were to ask me what I want long-term for this team, I'm personally wanting a reset, an organizational reset at the end of the season. I just feel as though this regime has run its course. Just my opinion, just my 2 cents on it. Not saying I'm correct. That's just my take, right? I can't tell the future here. Maybe the Jets do click and turn it around. I mean, one of the biggest issue with this team is that we beat ourselves every week. If we can roll out there, we don't commit a bunch of penalties. We can get lined up correctly. We can actually get plays in and called on the field to where we can actually line up with double digits on the play clock. That would be nice. That would be a start. If we could start catching passes, stop turning the ball over, start actually wrapping up an open field and making tackles as opposed to not trying to shy away from contact. Again, that would be a start. But until we see that, because we hear the team talk about how that's going to change and how it needs to change and this and that, look, talk is cheap, right? At some point, this team has got to walk the walk. And if they're not going to do that, then changes are going to be made. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section, where you stand on this. I personally feel like the Jets are just at rock bottom. And until they prove otherwise, they're going to continue to sit there. Or, worst case scenario, continue to sink deeper and deeper into the hole. But again, I'm all for the organizational reset come 2025. New culture, new general manager, new coach, new life. Again, that's just my opinion. Thanks so much for watching. You guys are the best. Jets fans are the best. And as always, go Jets.